2 ATS. In home games for Duquesne this year, 3-3 ATS. Nothing to really write home about. They are 9-3 at home. Okay, you look at the last time they played. George Washington absolutely killed them in every way. Rebounded them almost 2-1 on the rebounds. They got to the line a ton. They really just owned them. Last game in Duquesne a couple years back, pretty much same situation. George Washington was actually a bigger favorite than that. They went in there and they shot 31% and got blown out by Duquesne. Injury-wise, nothing really significant to talk about. I know it's the -2 on the road, but I think George Washington rolls in this one. I'll tell you another big game tonight is the Villanova-Temple game. Temple getting 8.5. I know a lot of people have seen how good Temple has played and might think they want to take the 8.5 against a Villanova team that, notoriously doesn't really cover on the road, although as of late they have. But there was a while there where they weren't covering anywhere. But they just went and only beat St. John's by 10, and everyone I know is going to want to jump on this Temple bandwagon. Let's put things in perspective, though. The caliber of teams that they're beating up on. South Florida, okay, UConn, maybe you can give me an argument for that. UCF, Tulsa, South Florida, Eastern Carolina. Yes, the SMU victory was pretty good. LaSalle, though, they beat Cincinnati, lost to Memphis. They lost to Houston. Lost to St. Joe's, lost to Wisconsin, lost to Utah, lost to Butler, lost to North Carolina. When they step up, it's a little different story. I think Villanova should throw a fucking beating to them tonight, but I'm not going to take it just out of respect for that dome and the fact that Villanova doesn't usually cover big numbers, but I wouldn't be surprised if they put a whooping on them. Surprising to say, I think BC, it's too many points on the road, 16.5. Am I ready to fucking bet them? Absolutely not. Another one I'm looking at tonight is George Mason, minus the 5.5, hosting St. Louis. They're a 9-16 team, though, but, St. Louis not that great. 5-15 ATS. I mean, it's bad. For the most part, George Mason does all right at home. Other than, obviously, they got their ass kicked by Dayton and George Washington. But, when they sort of step down to competition, I don't know. I'm still on the line with that. Neither team wins. I'm not going to back a shitty team, but that was something else I had written down. Another one that, same situation here. IUPUI at home against Nebraska-Omaha. I know a lot of people will look at this and like the Nebraska-Omaha pick, but look at the last game. Nebraska-Omaha beat them 76-61, right? Nebraska-Omaha shots 47% in that game, but IUPUI out-rebounded them big time, offensively and defensively. They just couldn't get to the line, and IUPUI shot 1 of 15 from three-point range, and they lost the game by 5. You're going to give me a couple points revenging a home loss here? As bad as IUPUI is, if they're fighting just to get into the conference tournament here. They're at the bottom of the barrel with Western Illinois. One team won't make it in. This is a big deal for them. They just played 3 straight road games that they lost, but before that, at home they're not a bad team. They're really not. They lost to Oral Roberts, but other than that, they've been cruising right along at home. I like IUPUI tonight, getting the 2.5. So, let's sum it up a little bit. And, the other one I like, a couple more I like that. Might as well just cruise through them all here, right? The Dayton-St. Joseph's, I think, will be a great game. I like Syracuse getting the 9 points on the road in Louisville. Still tinkering with that, whether I'm going to make it a client play. Xavier should roll against Providence. I like Villanova, but I'm just saying. Okay, these are just things I'm talking about in general. These aren't all my plays. George Washington, 2, like that. George Mason, that one's a little iffy still. Could St. John's finally get their first conference win? That's an interesting one. Northern Iowa, a lot of people are going to be on that one. Southern Illinois is laying a big number, but it's Bradley. They suck. But Southern Illinois has been hit or miss for me lately. Duke, North Carolina, like I said, if I was looking at it on paper and didn't see the names, I'd take UNC. but it is Duke, North Carolina. It's tough to lay that many points. You would think Evansville covers the 10 in Drake, but not all about that. I like Alabama getting the points today in LSU. I can't bet against Arizona at home, especially against a bad Arizona State team, even if it is double digits. Can't do it. Be careful with that Fresno-Wyoming game. Be careful with that one. Be careful with the Nevada-San Jose State game. Don't think Nevada should roll that bad team. IUPUI I like, especially getting 2 points. I like the 2 points in that one. And that's it. And then again, over in the NHL, I like the Blackhawks under 5. And then we're going to figure out what we're going to do with this Minnesota Wild team, how we're going to play that one. So, that should be it. If there's any other ones you guys wanted me to go over, let me know. But as far as client plays, guys, I'll get them to you out soon. Oh, the Northern Iowa team, right? I do like the under in that one. That was another one I'm looking at against Loyola. Perhaps being a client play. It's 124. It's a really small number, but we'll keep an eye on that one. A couple big. How about some trends to look at tonight? If you like to trend bet, right? You look at North Dakota State in first halves. Just on the total in the first half, right? The under's 11-0 when they're coming off a loss. Let's see. Any other significant ones here? Duquesne, totals in February. The over's 10-0. Play against Cal State Fullerton. Irvine's, that's on the money line, so it doesn't really matter. Western Illinois, if you bet against them, you're 22-4 on the money line. So that's it. Let's see. What else can we talk about here? We didn't talk about that Nebraska-Indiana game. I'm not sold on them. And if you think you're going to lay 5 with Oklahoma, well, the casino will gladly take the biggest bet you want on that one. Probably the most sucker bet of the night. Not saying Oklahoma can't go in there and win, but Texas Tech's perimeter defense is pretty good. I'd be careful laying 5 with that one. Virginia Tech, they've been covering pretty good the numbers. And Miami, usually will play down to their competition. They should handle them, no problem. It's just covering a big number is a whole nother thing. Iowa going into Penn State. Penn State's been surprisingly decent at home, although Iowa should just absolutely hammer him tonight. This is a type of night that maybe I put in a couple plays and then take some of these guys that I like on the money line and some, fun little parlay of some sort. But as far as the strong ones, I do like the George Washington. Up in the air with Syracuse. Seton Hall under 144 is another one I didn't talk about against Georgetown. Looking at that one, I do like Alabama getting the points. I don't mind laying the points with USC either tonight. And then the IUPUI plus the 2 points, and that will do it. So a little all over the place, a little rushed today, but we get it done as usual, right? Tomorrow, I don't even think, I mentioned I was going to do my top 10 for baseball today, and I got sidetracked. We're going to do a position each day real quick. I've got a couple minutes. Get right to the big dogs. Let's get to the top 10 pitchers, right? And if I miss somebody, let me know. When I do my top 10, if someone's not in it, and I'm going to try to do it in order, let me know if you think someone else should be in it, because it's tough to pick 10. It really is. I'm going to start number 10 with Sonny Gray. In a pitcher's ballpark, I think he'll have great numbers, okay? I'll put him at my number 10 just for that. And I'm talking, stat-wise for this year and success. That's what I'm saying. Sonny Gray at number 10. Number 9, King Felix. He'll be in my top. He'll sneak into my top 10 at number 9. Obviously, he can do it when he wants to. On the road, it's been a little challenging of late. That's why he's dropped big time in my my list anyway. Which brings us to number 9, number 8, Zach Greinke. For the Diamondbacks now, coming off a big contract, changing positions. He's a little mental. I want to see how he adjusts to pitching elevation. But yes, Zach Greinke's at my number 8. Number 7, the hardest thrower in all of baseball, Garrett Cole, on average. Should have a good year for Pittsburgh. They're going to lean on him heavy, though. They're not too deep this year. We'll see how the pressure does between him and Liriano. Then there's a big drop-off. Although, if I'm a Pittsburgh Pirates fan, I'm excited about the young arms you get. Just a matter of seeing where you're at with them. What's that? Number 7. Number 6, David Price for the Red Sox. Big game pitcher. I'll put him at number 7. Number 6, I'm going to put... this is where it gets tough. Number 6, Madison Bumgarner. He's down at number 6. His arm, I know he's a workhorse and everything, but, he's been pitching a lot. And we'll see how he does. You guys got to remember, he had 9 losses last year. Not a lot of it was his fault. He had an ERA under 3, but he still had 9. But, yeah, that's at 6. Number 5, I'm going to put Jake Arrieta at number 5. I don't think he can... They asked a lot of him. He pitched a lot of innings. I don't think he'll be as good as he was last year, but he'll still be good. Number 4, I'm going to put Matt Scherzer up there at number 4. Solid. I know he fell off a little, but what he was doing earlier in the season was unbelievable. Number 3, now we got our 1, 2, and 3 here. Matt Harvey will go at number 3. Hopefully, if they let his innings go up and barring no injury, I think he should be all right. Number 2, Chris Sale. With you would be surprised to see what he's making this year. Really, seriously. Next year, I should say. It's it's like $11 million. It's crazy. But big time lefty. Pitching for a gigantic contract in a few years. Gotta love it. Does pitch in a tough division against some good lineups, but he's a fucking animal. He's an absolute animal. And then number 1, Kershaw. I don't care if people say he had a down year last year. His ERA was 2. Exactly 2. Still the best pitcher on the planet. That will be my top 10 in pitching. And some honorable mentions that didn't even make it. Dallas Keuchel, for good reason, I think. Well, let's see how he can do. He pitched a lot of innings. He pitched more innings than he ever has before. Can he come out and do it again and be relied on to go deep into many games? Corey Kluber, injury-prone but really good pitcher. Jacob deGrom, I want to see how he does this year, and then I'll be sold on him. But what a year he had last year. Strasburg, I'm not a big fan of. Jose Fernandez. Now, he could be my number 1, all right? And he probably should have been in my top 10. The only reason I don't put him in there, if Miami's in the pennant race, then he could be the Cy Young Award winner in the National League this year. If he's not, they're going to shut him down. And production-wise, I think you're not going to see a lot of him. That's why I had him out of my top 10. But if I knew he was going to go the whole season in a pennant race, I would have had him in my top 3. So, if there's any question on that. So, Madrid's getting it done. There you go. So that will do it. And then any other ones I missed. Lester, we'll see. Archer. Trying to think of anybody else. Maybe Chapman, but, then you're getting into some relievers. Cole Hamel, Adam Wainwright, we'll see how he can do bouncing back. We'll see how he does in the second half. And then, the other one I want to talk about. I think Marcus Stroman can win the AL Cy Young if he can pitch a full season. I like Marcus Stroman a lot. There's just so many names that I'm running out. If you notice, most of them I mentioned are in the National League for good reason. But that'll do it. Oh, there you go, Dan. Yeah, Stroman. Yeah, I know you're wondering that because I probably mentioned it before. But yes, Stroman, he's another one. Between him and Jose Fernandez, that could be your NL and AL Cy Young Award winner this year. It's just like I said, production-wise, I want to see Stroman get through a year. Hector Rodon is a beast. He's a relief pitcher, but he's a beast. I don't think Carlos Martinez, he could be interesting. Then I can make a whole nother top 10 for young talent. Also, I didn't. These are all veterans that I emotionally mentioned, but that'll do it. We'll move on to catchers tomorrow, which is an interesting position to say the least. But that'll